Jack the Chipper, Nick, do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, it's funny for a start, isn't it?
It's quite funny, isn't it?
You've said it about 6 times there, and I slightly laughed each time.
So it hasn't even got tired by the time I've said it. So it's a good joke.
Well, it's a great joke. It's so dumb that it's actually funny, isn't it? Jack the Chipper. And your other one was good. What was it?
Harold Chipman.
That was
very
funny
good.
As well. I would go to
Jealous
that.
of that joke.
You would go to that one, would you?
Yeah.
You see, the thing is about that is I understand that if I was related to one of his Harold Chipman's victims and there was a chip shop called Harold Chipman, I would be upset. But I actually could be upset, and I can see that.
Yeah.
There's no one alive who is related, well, not related, but who knew any of the victims.
And we don't even know if it was the person who... We don't even know who it was.
We don't know who he was. So it's quite a stretch. I wonder, Abi, whether it's because... Now, the first chip shop they had was opened in Whitechapel, which is where the murders happened.
Yeah.
Right? But the clientele there were predominantly working class.
Yeah.
Then suddenly there's an outlet in Greenwich.
Yeah.
And suddenly lots of middle-class people turn up. And there seems to be a correlation between the kind of woke movement and richer people. Am I wrong?
No, I think you're exactly right. I think basically the more middle class, the person is, the more they're offended, the more time they've got on their hands to go, oh, goodness grief, and, clutch their pearls. I tell you what is funny. Well, on Monday morning, I did the Great British Breakfast, and Afghanistan had just broken. The story had just broken, and I was on with Simon McCoy. And I was literally like this. What can I do? What can I choose?
And
how about Jack the... So I did the Jack the Chipper.
Oh, you did? You already spoke about Jack the Chipper.
Yeah, but it was just so funny because it was literally like, it was like pushing... I was saying like Sisyphus was pushing a huge rock uphill because of all the news.
Well, this is the point I'm trying to make. Like, it does seem so flippant when you consider what's going on in Afghanistan. We're talking about Jack the Chipper.
Just trying to make light. It's like, hey.
It's so weird how everyone's always boycotting things. Is that really a boycott? So I see a boycott more like, let's say you're advertising on a TV channel, then you pull your adverts because you're a bit dumb and scared. That would be like a boycott. But
wonder what you're referring to there, Nick.
No idea. But people who... But people who were they going to the chip shop anyway? Because if they were going to it, they had no problem with the name Jack the Chipper.
Yeah. Yes.
And if they weren't, they weren't customers anyway. So it's more like a hate campaign.
Well, it's interesting because they haven't just been boycotting. They haven't just been saying, well, I'm not going to go there for your fish and chips. The reason is, what they've been doing actually is going online and sabotaging the website with bad reviews, which you can do now, of course.
Right.
So it's not just that they don't want the chips from this group that endorses Victorian serial killers. They don't want anyone else to... It seems like a big, fat waste of time. Let's call that what it is, right?
Yeah. And you know what? There's actually a patio company called Fred West Patios.
But I'm sure...
It's real.
I'm sure that wasn't named after him. I would have thought that would have been a...
Yes.
I mean, it's like that cement mixing company that was called Jim will Mix It.
Oh, Mix It.
Jim will Mix It.
And of course that predates what happened. But,
but I love puns, your place or mine. There's a fish and chip shop. I love all those kind of things.
The Codfather.
Yeah, the Godfather, love it.
The Codfather as well. And actually, go on, sorry, Nick.
Well, now they've come up with a 50% discount for women. I mean, how do you feel about that? That's the part I'm offended by, Andrew. Once again, excluded as a man.
I should explain, actually.
And Abi would get 50% off her chip.
Off my chips.
This is one of the weird things about this. So when the owner was attacked by the protesters, he actually then said, well, OK, I will give women 50% off their chips. As reparations for the victims of Jack the Ripper? Look, this is where identity politics
leads us. It's the least he could do, isn't it, really?
But listen, since we're making this point, and I did make that in my big, long spiel at the front, I was trying to make this point, that these kind of silly, seemingly flippant stories, right, actually do have a broader significance because they are, in some way, they share the DNA of the kind of mentality that pushes for censorship, that says that we can solve the issues in Afghanistan through woke politics. It's the same beast, right? It's just that it's the one we can joke about.